Welcome to You Are Not Alone. This is a safe place to explore all things spiritual and beyond. I am spiritual medium Erika Gabriel. Hello, friends. Welcome to You Are Not Alone. How is everyone? How are you guys doing? It's summer. You may be listening to this in the dead of winter, and for that, I'm truly sorry. God, I'm not a winter person. I'm so happy it's summer. I love the warm weather. I love the sun. And so I hope everyone is doing really well. I've been thinking of you all so much. And it's so cool when I'm just like living my life and then something happens or I do a reading or I have something with spirit and I write it down. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to do a podcast on that. That will answer so many questions. So know that I'm with you all. I'm thinking of you guys every single day. So I don't want to talk too much because I have a guest. So I think I just need to introduce her first, and then I'll tell you who she is to me. So I have on Alexy Posner, who is the founder and president of a powerhouse athlete, talent, and event management company. She founded this company in 2016 at a young age and has taken this to become this powerhouse, incredible company that she founded and that she runs. And it's unbelievably impressive. And I wanted to have her on today to, talk about women's empowerment, to talk about believing in yourself, to talk about chasing dreams, to talk about being available to changing your dreams while still keeping your dreams. I will tell you that I went to the Super Bowl with Alexy on her invitation and walked around with her through the really exclusive pre-Super Bowl party, walked around the town of the Super Bowl with her, walked around the actual Super Bowl with her. And it's a very much like a networking kind of event, right? Obviously, there's a lot of fans, but there's so many people, like industry people there as well. And it was so cool for people to hear her be like, oh, so what do you do? And she's like, oh, I'm an athlete, talent, vet management founder. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. So what company do you work for? And she's like, no, it's my company. It's called AP Brand Group. I should have said that earlier, meaning Alexy Posner Brand Group. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. But like, who do you work for? What company do you work for? And she's like, no, it's my company. I'm the founder of the company. And they're just like, look her up and down. They're like, who is this? Who the hell is this girl? People are there for working for massive billion-dollar companies. And that's the reason why they're there. And here walks in Alexy as the founder of this incredible company. And they can't believe her client list. They can't believe what she's created. It's unheard of. So here's the cool thing. Alexy is also my little sister. Alexy, welcome to You Are Not Alone.
Hi, sister. Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm like, yay. This is so fun. Yay. Thank you for having me, sister, and for the sweetest introduction ever. That was amazing. Thank you. I'm so excited to be on. Obviously, I'm like your number one super fan. So this is like a very big deal.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for coming on. Alexy is incredibly busy. She lives in Arizona. And so I'm honored that you had time and that you wanted to come on. You're such an inspiring person to me and to a lot of other people and a lot of people that meet you. Again, people are just like, where did you come from? How are you doing what you're doing? And it's, it's amazing. It's a lot of it is your own belief in yourself and belief in your dreams. But I want people to know how we are sisters because they're going to watch us on YouTube and be like, why is she so young and why is she so old? And how did this all?
That is outlandish comment. Do not talk about my sister that way. No one thinks that when they look at the two of us.
Although I'm 5 feet tall and she's 6 feet tall. So people are.
That's really the difference. That honestly, it's not the age thing. It's when people look at us and are like, look at you. And then look what happened here. There's about 9-inch difference between, 8 inches. Yeah.
We're going to post pictures of us like next to each other.
Post a picture from the Super Bowl where I look like the Taylor Swift meme of her, like, I'm the giant on the hill and you're the little like, it was really bad. Yep.
You had to go
Yep.
Taylor
We'll post
Swift
those
within the first 10 minutes, you're going Taylor Swift. There's a Taylor Swift.
already. You know what? The people that went to her concert are going to understand that reference. They're going to get it. It's in Anti-Hero when she performed it at the Eras Tour. There's going to be some people listening that understood that one.
A lot. I went. Remember, I went. I know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So here's how we're related. I'll just come at it from my angle. So my mom and dad had 3 daughters, Annika, Emily, who you guys know, Crystal Emily, she's come on, and then me. And then when I was 4, they got divorced. Both my parents got remarried in the same summer, by the way. Same summer. I was in both my parents' wedding. Okay. That's for my therapist, not for the podcast. Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
You're like, at a later date, we will unpack the impact that had on me and my rest of my childhood.
100%. And then my dad and my bonus mom, stepmom, first had Alexy. So Alexy made me an older sister. And I like one of the best first of all, I was so excited. Most excited out of any of the siblings. And that's the truth. I don't mean that rudely, but I was just so excited and felt so connected to her. And I remember my stepmom had all these beautiful, adorable clothes for her and matching headbands. And my best friend was over and we went to my stepmom like, can we organize her closet? Like we thought she was going to say no, you know? She was like, of course. We organized her closet and she was the most beautiful little girl, sweetest girl in the world. And I used to run home from school, like slam my bag down and be like, where's my sister? And just play with her and hug her. And we have a very, when you're in a family dynamic where there's a lot of, divorce and then there's, new families and all that, it's complicated, not because of us, but just innately. And
absolutely.
Alexy is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. She is a blessing to my life. She's a blessing to my kids. She has been an integral part of our incredible relationship. And she is 11 years younger than me. And that holds no bearing because we're so incredibly close and we're very similar. We're very different, but we're very similar.
Oh, similar. Yes. 100 million %.
Yes. So this is how we're related. And, Alexy, as from a very young age, got deeply into horseback riding. And I want, if you can, Alexy, just kind of starting there, because I feel like so much of who you are today started there. And how did it kind of come to be from riding and to getting into this incredible career?
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say that. Like when you say we're 11 years apart, I literally think we're basically the same age, not only because of how we act, but just like from the time I was a little kid, I was flying out to LA to see you. And like we've been so close my whole entire life. And you're the reason I had my first sip of alcohol. We'll get to that story later. But, there's we've been doing such fun things. You're 20 taking care of me. I'm 11 coming to visit you. It was so fun. So, it's funny that there is an age gap because I don't even feel it because we've just we talk on the phone every day and we're obsessed with each other and you're my favorite person on the planet. So yeah,
I love you so much.
Back to the horses. Yeah. So I started riding when I was 3. My grandpa, my mom's dad put me on a horse when I was 3 years old. And it was the greatest experience of my life. And I never stopped. I rode every day from the time I was 3 until 22. Technically, my riding career ended. 21, my riding career ended, and I rode for a few more years. But it was, I've always sort of been that earth kid that just needed to be out in nature and with horses. And I definitely think, they saved my life in so many ways. And I was very competitive athlete. It feels like a lifetime ago. It's kind of interesting to even talk about it right now because, my life has sort of taken all these different iterations to where I am today versus who I feel like I was then. But you're right. I mean, it made me so much of who I am in the sense of understanding what unconditional love is from my horse, understanding taking care of something bigger than myself, being a part of a team. And having like pretty substantial responsibilities at a really young age. And also like head on facing your fears. Like you're riding a 2,000 pound animal, like galloping across the country. And you're like, you sort of have to drop everything. And like that phrase of like, let it go and let God kind of comes into play with that, because you're just, you're out there on this animal, and you're just hoping you've created a bond that is going to keep you safe and, yeah, get you back home at the end of the night.
And it's so interesting with your writing, and you say, like, it saved your life. I feel like it's so spiritual to be with an animal like that. Like you said, like, you had to
Yeah.
create that bond, so it's so physical, but so spiritual as well.
Absolutely. Horses are, anyone that's listening that has an opportunity to do a level of equine therapy, I would say try to find somewhere near you, because horses are the only animal that'll directly mirror what is happening internally. So there's incredible equine therapy that takes place where you go into, an enclosed arena, the horse is loose, and you walk into the arena, and the horse is going to mirror exactly energetically what you're giving back to them. And so when we start thinking about like, how am I going to show up in the world? And like the world, this bigger notion of the world is a mirror to how we show up. Like a horse is a big fat mirror. Like that is a direct connection to that. And so I think growing up, with these horses and experiencing that, it really quickly allowed me to understand. I mean, I haven't mastered it by any means, but understand like, how am I going to show up, and how do I do it in a way that the universe mirrors back what I'm asking for? Because I mean, that's exactly what happens with these horses. It's like such a spiritual experience.
That's so amazing. They're so, like, beautiful. And if you show up, like, scared shitless, they're gonna get spooked, right?
They're gonna like run in the other direction or go and hide, or they're like lurking around you. If you show up sort of feeling confident and ready, they're gonna walk towards you, and it's really 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 fascinating. It was the I mean the best. And yeah, I miss my horses like every single day, and I also know it's something that I'm going to be able to get back into when the time is right and when I'm ready to like call it in. But oh my gosh, the amount of times I like hit the ground, fell off, and like broke this, hurt that, like had poop on me. Like, I mean, it's countless, but yeah, there's nothing like growing up on a farm, like getting your hands dirty, having to like get up in the morning, muck the stalls, feed the horses, and then still like be a, competitive student also with it. So it's the best.
Well, right, and then you were doing events, so that probably, like, that mentality of, like, I don't know if you can call riding horses, it is a sport, it's not sports, but, like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
mentality of, like, an athlete and stuff that led you, I think, to understand so much the people that you work with.
Totally.
So how did this start? I mean, you were always I interested in sports management, but
Yeah.
this started, I think you were at a quinine therapy place,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I grew up, I mean, from the time I was little, I would say I wanted to be a vet. My grandfather, who put me on a horse, was a vet. So from, I think, 12, I started volunteering at an animal shelter. I worked at New Bolton Center. My whole high school was around horses, and I wanted to be in equine sports medicine and surgery. My everything was focused on that. Went to college based on that. I went to University of Delaware my first year, focused because they had such an incredible pre-vet program, and ended up transferring to Franklin and Marshall. And again, like pre-vet, pre-med was my track all the way. And what's so crazy is like you could not have told me otherwise. Like at the age of 18, it was that was the only vision for my future. And I ended up failing organic chemistry because I had four horses. I was competing at an international level and was flying back and forth to Florida every weekend. My horses were down there during the winter, and I was in school up in Pennsylvania. And it just like I couldn't keep up with all of it, and I ended up failing organic chemistry. And it was like, all right, you've got to basically, now you're going to be a year back in school. And so I switched my major and became a history major. I was like, I can't do all these things. And so became a history major. And I loved it. I like flourished, and it's so funny. One door closes and another one sort of like swings open. And all of a sudden you're like, damn, well, this actually feels way more aligned. Like, why have I been trying to force this like peg in, a round peg in a square hole, is what I felt like every, and not that I wasn't good at sciences, but like clear, it just wasn't right. And absolutely flourished in history, had a minor in religious studies, and like loved it more than anything. And so my riding career came to an end my senior year of college. And I went through a really, really, really dark depression. I was a heavy, heavy drinker, as you know. I like overdosed on alcohol one night, had to have my stomach pumped, like ended up in the hospital, was so deeply depressed because my whole entire identity was wrapped into my horses. So I would introduce myself and I'm like, I'm Alexy, I ride horses. And all of a sudden that wasn't there. And so I, you know, fast forward many years after going through that depression and moving into sport and wanting to be in this kind of environment, I started AP Brand Group because I wanted to work with athletes that while they were still actively playing, we were honing in on their passion and their purpose outside of what was happening on the field, so that when their careers ended, whether it was next week because of, God forbid, an injury, or 10 years down the road, they felt like they were stepping into something based on what their passion and purpose was, bigger than what was happening, versus like this rug was ripped out from under them. And that was the experience that I had had. And all of a sudden I had to rebuild from the ground up, and was living in a valley for a long time until I sort of found where I needed to go.
Mm. That's so amazing, because I like when you were talking about like horses and like, you were so focused. It's like you had a passion and that's what guided you. And it's like the same thing that you're doing for these athletes. Like, what are you passionate about? Because that will draw you. Like the idea of like chasing money or chasing that end result. But like if your passion is driving you, like you will stop at nothing if you love something or have a passion for something, and some people, like I talk to, Alexi, are like, I don't have a passion, I just want to provide for my family. Then that's your passion. Then your family is your
Totally.
passion, and like doing what you have to do to create for them, that is passion. So it doesn't have to be, something like that, but it's just like that
Yeah.
passion and finding what drives you, because it has to come from love or else you're not going to get there.
Yeah. I even wonder with those people that say, and absolutely nothing against someone who says I want to provide for my family. It's like, is there a level of fear that that's like maybe stopping you from even discovering your passion? Like, is there something there? Cause that for me was the biggest thing I had to overcome, is like this fear barrier that a lot of times our passion and our purpose sort of lays underneath that. And there's this like almost like an impenetrable like membrane that sits on top, that there's this like fear barrier, and figuring out how to kind of pop that and go like, okay, I know my passion's going to be big enough and I can get through that. But overcoming that is, I think, the hardest thing. That's, at least for me, what I run into with a lot of the athletes that I work with and a lot of the talent that I work with, is it always seems to be, you know, like under right before we can really dig into what they want their bigger purpose to be, there's this limiting belief and this limiting sort of fear barrier, like that's there, that stops them from really expanding through that.
That's like literally why I did my course the way. It's about getting stuck. And it's like on the other side of fear, on the other side of victimhood, there's a couple things that are the main
Mm,
blocks. You know what I mean? And like that's, yeah, on the other side of fear. And I think sometimes, everyone has a different path in life. It's not always the fear factor,
100.
but that's so amazing. So then, okay, so you were working in the quinine therapy place, and you met.
Yep. So I was working. So school ends, and I I ran away to England for a couple of months, and then I came home, and I got a job working for an ad agency in Philadelphia, as an intern that I got connected to. I ended up getting fired from that job because
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't sleep with the founder. He
I
took me
remember
out for a
that.
dinner. Yes, I know. It's weird. It's like feels like such a little weird blurb, but yeah, I mean, sexual harassment has been sadly, unfortunately, a little bit of a theme throughout my career, and now it's just kind of like whatever. Thankfully we've moved out of this phase, but this is in 2012,
Right. Well,
and I
also
was
now you're like, I can kick your ass. Like you
yeah,
should see
I'm like,
Alexi.
what?
She is so fit. And that's a whole nother component we're going to talk about. But like, you could kick their ass. Like there's nothing, like no one can touch you.
Oh my God. It's like it's so bizarro that even happened. But I knew I was like, ooh, this is kind of cool. Like this sport entertainment. I'd been working for this cool ad marketing firm. And so I went back and I reached out to through the alumni network, I got connected to a wonderful man who was an alumni of Franklin and Marshall, who was working at the Lancaster Barnstormers. And so I got my first job in sport as an unpaid intern, which is super illegal. It's fine. Left the Barnstormers. I think they've gotten that under control now, but I was an unpaid intern that worked like 90 hours a week at the Lancaster Barnstormers and worked there, ended up getting hired on full time. I made $24,000 a year, which was very exciting. And as you know, our younger brother Adam joined the finance world after college. So that was a something to, a large pill for my mom to stomach, that like, I'm out there with $24,000 a year and he's like 120, but that's okay. Worked for the Barnstormers, got an opportunity to work for the Reading Fightin' Phils, which is the Phillies AA affiliate, and then worked for the Reading Royals. And what was really interesting throughout those 3 different jobs, and I'll get to kind of the last one, was the first 2 I was sort of fired from, which is bananas.
I remember that.
I was like fired from both of them. And it was this experience where I felt like my intentions and what I was trying to do and accomplish, like I just kept getting misunderstood. And again, not playing a victim here, but it was like I had so much energy and wanted to do so much. And I don't know, I just kept getting fired. Like they were like, you basically, like, they almost didn't know what to do with me. It just ultimately was not, it was the universe going like, nope, you're going to sit here if we don't get you out of here. Like you've said this to me so many times, sister, where you're like, the universe is going to keep upping the stakes until you learn the lesson you're supposed to learn. And that was what was happening in those jobs. It was like, if I wasn't physically getting kicked out, like, I don't know that I would have left. I was still so young. And anyway, so I got fired from those 2 jobs. And then I joined the Reading Royals, and I had an opportunity, which is the Flyers ECHL affiliate. Loved my job there, was having a great time, but again, was hit with a lot of adversity with just dynamics. And it was very like old boys club and all this stuff. And I had an opportunity then to go work for Lee Steinberg, who the movie Jerry Maguire is based off of. And so I left my job with the Royals and was ready to move out to LA and move to Newport Beach. And what was so crazy is I went and looked at that job before I was going to move there. And I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right. And I kept ignoring that voice that was so loudly going like, don't do this, don't do this. But I was like, nope, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity. And I'm 25 at this point in time. And so it's September of 2016. And 4 days before my birthday, which my number is 4 days before my birthday, I got a text, 4-word text, opportunity off the table. Still to this day, don't know exactly why. I'll see Lee, I'll see his colleagues, and they say hi and whatever. But yeah, 4 days before I moved out there, 4-word text. And I was like, this is God, the universe, whatever you believe in's way of being like, go, come on, bet on yourself. What the fuck are you doing? Excuse my language. But like, what are you doing? Go bet on yourself. And I had left the house when I was like 16, as you left so early too, and called Mary and Joel, our parents, and said, or my mom and our dad, and said like, can I move back into the house? I'm going to start my own business. And will you guys basically make sure I don't die, like don't starve? And they were like, we'll feed you, whatever. And so I bartended, I worked at a clothing store. And as I was starting to get AP Brand Group going, and I called every single person I knew, and technically is my second client, but I call him my first client, Akbar Bajabiamila, I was introduced to. And now almost 9 years later, we've been working together and have built everything together. But that kind of got us to the start of AP Brand Group it was literally on my birthday, the day I turned 26. So it'll be 9 years this September, which is nuts.
Oh my God. And he was the host of The Talk. He's the host of American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so...
Yeah, former NFL player, TV host, was on Good Morning Football this past season, and hosted The Talk for a few years before The Talk unfortunately got canceled. But yeah, still host of American Ninja Warrior 17 years later, which is crazy.
It's also so crazy because I feel like the feedback you were getting was like, does not play well with others. Like you, like does not have a boss. And like I feel the same way. Like I cannot have a boss.
No,
If
I cannot have a boss.
I
Nope.
can't have a boss and it's like, I don't know, like I can't do it. Like I'm like a monkey on a leash. I'm like a cat on a
You
leash. Like I cannot deal with that. And I feel like over and over again, it's like, does not play with others. Like for you,
does
Alexi.
not.
And you're like, I guess I have to be my own boss now. Like
Oh my God, you should see me in the relation. Yeah.
in a
No, sorry, go.
relationship. Oh God. Wait.
Yeah, it was like does not do well with a boss. Like you should see a dynamic with a relationship. That's
Right.
even more
If
entertaining.
you
But
have the wrong person, like a bossy person or
oh
something, that's not going to work. And like,
nope.
it's so interesting because like you kept being redirection. At any point, you could have been
Mhm.
like, I'm going to give up. I'm going to give up. But you have an innate, deep belief in yourself. And I think that's what's missing in so many people. I bump into that all the time, like with things that I want to do. I'm just like, it's like that, not imposter syndrome. I don't feel imposter syndrome, but just like not believing that like I can do things like that I have the skill or whatever. Not with readings or
Yeah.
mediumship, but like I don't know, writing or something. We
Yeah.
get in these like traps of like misconceptions about ourselves. And I feel
Yeah.
like you kept that idea of like I believe in my abilities and sometimes you faked it till you maked it. I mean,
Oh my God, in the wise words of Taylor Swift,
oy
I was
vey.
like, are you going to quote her right now? Because
Oy
it's
vey.
that's, and I fake it till you make it. And I did. Yeah, it's from I Could Do It
Oy.
with a Broken Heart, in case anyone was wondering from TTPD. That is, no, but it is
Oy
true. I
vey.
laugh.
Get Taylor
I
out
laugh.
of here. Get her out of this. No, I think she's adorable. You guys know that. I went to a concert.
No, but it is so true. And it's this fine line between like, because you're not um over promising and under delivering. Like it's not fake it and pretend to be something you're not, but it is this like where you have to kind of go, I believe in myself. I can do this. I can do this. And you almost keep coaching yourself into, you just have to keep saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it until it really finally sticks. Like there are so many times where I looked in the mirror and I was like, you are a rock star and you can do it. And inside I'm like, I want to go crawl under this sink and cry. But like I kept looking, I kept going, you are a rock star. Everything works out for you. You can do it. And I know I'm kind of saying it aggressively, but it was almost like I had to drill that into my brain. And even, there are days where I want to literally like curl up in the corner and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. And you have to be your own biggest champion and cheerleader. And yeah, I mean, really like fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah, no one handed this to you. You had to inspire yourself over and over again. No one gave this to you. Like you created everything and it's not like your parents are in this field. It's not like I mean this you went for it.
Thank
Have
you.
you ever had that feeling though where like the goal of what you were doing became very blurry? So you're like, "Wait, what am I doing?" Like,
Yeah.
"Wait a minute." Like like for an example, like if you're like, I want to become an event show jumper in horses, like that's very clear. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
has it ever
Yep.
been like when you're working on your business and you're just like, wait, what is the goal here? What do I want to do? Like, had it ever become fuzzy?
Absolutely. And I think it's interesting. You and I actually had a reading where you had warned me a few years ago. You're like, one thing that just keeps coming through is like, just being really clear with yourself on like what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to. And what you truly like kind of truly lights you up inside. I think that's something I've been lucky that I happen to be good at a lot of things. Like social media is an example. I can run at somebody's social media account. Does that light my fire? Absolutely not. And I had to almost say no to opportunities that were a nice paycheck to run a client's social media, but I was like, that doesn't do it for me. And to have to say those no's in order to kind of keep focused on the bigger picture. But there's been many times I feel like, especially in times of growth, like in times of where I'm being called to level up, my business is being called to level up, there's been those moments where you're like, what am I doing? And where am I spending my energy? And what's happening? I mean, it has not been a straight or linear path. And I think that's also been the biggest thing for me of like, really being okay with that. It's not always like that path is not always straight. And I have to kind of give myself those little reminders around like, where am I saying no? And what am I saying yes to? And bringing myself back to like, what really makes me happy? Because I do believe when you are operating from a space of like true happiness and passion and purpose, like my alarm goes off at 4:44 every single morning. My ass gets out of bed and like, that is not easy, right? And like that's not always the best, but I think when you can kind of go like, fuck yeah, I got this. I feel so lucky. I woke up this morning and now I get to go do what I love to do. All of a sudden you're able to walk to that sink and start brushing your teeth and the day can get going. You know what I mean? But if it's like, oh, here we go. Like it's like I don't know. It makes it a lot harder and makes kind of keeping those goals a lot harder as well.
That's me usually when I wake up. Like I am a horrible.
No, I know. I've woken up in the same room as you, though we
It's
are
bad.
very good at napping
Oh
together.
my gosh,
Though we
Alexi
all,
sleeps like a log and it's just so grounding and cozy. But like I truly feel like Jeremy leaps out of bed and he's just like, I'm gonna go exercise and meditate, whatever. And I'm like, why are you talking to me? Yeah,
Jeremy,
like I am a
Jeremy, leave me
horrible
alone.
morning person. Priya is always just like, oh my God, Priya is my best friend. So we grew up like doing sleepovers and she's just like, oh God, you're not good at in the morning and like you're not really good late at night, staying up late. You like to go to bed. Catch me between like 11 and 4 and I'm like pretty good. But yeah, I think that's so important. And like also Alexi's number is 444 and I know there's people out there that also have 444. So Alexi is a great like guide for you in like if she's bringing you these numbers, you know. And I know I joke that I'm so grouchy in the morning, but honestly, for me, it's an opportunity to like rewrite my ship. So I feel myself like I always
Mm,
think of a sailboat because I used to know how to sail. I don't anymore, but I think of a sailboat when the wind is just you're kind of catching the wind in the wrong way, and it's just really like
mm,
it's like flapping in the wind, or you know, it's you have to rebalance. So like every day, it is a constant like reminder to realign myself and just get myself straight and get myself right. And that's why like I
yeah.
always tell people like whenever I bring up stuff like that, it's not because I am perfect and wake up with like direction and clarity. It's because I
No.
find these skills, like I had to hone in on skills to get myself right every single day because I wake up really like I wake up on the wrong side of the bed most days and like I have to align myself and that's like spiritual practice. That is devotion when you want to get yourself right, you know, and that's what you're saying, get up.
100%.
And you thrive off that. Like off like, come on, let's go. You know what I mean?
Let's get it going.
Yeah.
You got this shit. No, but I think I love that you just said that because I do feel like people look at me and they're like, you're always so happy. You're always so bright. I wear a lot of hot pink. Like that's one of my brand colors and big energy. And I know one of my gifts is to lift, is to be this sort of, well, which took many years to figure out, but be this like big light and big energy and all this stuff. Right. But that is not like, not I don't want to say natural. That is an active choice every single day. Like when that alarm goes off in the morning,
Yes.
it's a very active choice to either go, oh fuck my life, I can't believe my alarm's going off and I have to get up now, or and trust me, those thoughts come into my brain almost every single
Yeah.
morning. Or like this morning, my alarm went off, I went to 6 a.m. workout and I was like and I was pooped and I'm like, Alexi, you have lungs that are getting air in them, and like it's something I know the words I have to tell myself, and like my boyfriend's different, he has different things he's got to go tell himself, and but it is this very active decision. It doesn't just come naturally. Even years and years later, it doesn't come naturally. But as you said, it's like a devotion and a practice. And it's like that repetitiveness. And again, fake it till you make it, like continuously telling yourself something until it starts to become so deeply ingrained in your soul that you're like, I believe this. Okay, let's go.
This is who I am now.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
I think for me, like, and also what you've said is like finding your why, basically. So like when
Big.
if I'm in that space and I'm like, oh man, like I don't know where I am, I'm floating, and then I'm like, okay, so what is my why? Why do I do the work that I do? And then I just make it real simple. Like I'm here to serve spirit. I'm here to spread messages from spirit. That's why I'm here. And then I just go back to that and just simplify it, you know? And I think that that can really help.
Oh, I love that. It's been cool. Like I had early on in my career, a woman that was a big publicist on the main line. You know how small the main line is. And I'd been working at a clothing
The
store.
main line is outside of Philadelphia, by the way. It's like an area of the suburbs called the main line for people that don't know.
Yes, yes, where we grew up, and it was kind of before I got that marketing job, so I was back after traveling to England or whatnot, and was working at a clothing store because I needed to obviously make money. And this woman would come in constantly, and she owned a boutique PR firm. And so she was one of the ones I had reached out to when I was trying to figure out where I was going. And then blah, blah happens, go to Lancaster Barnstormers. And the Barnstormers came to a close for me. And I reached out to her again because I'm like, you know what? Life is about relationships and connections. And so it was like, can I take you out for lunch or coffee? Mind you, I don't even have $20 to my name, but I'm going to like figure out how to how to get money to take her out. And she said no, basically. And so very early on, I realized there are sort of two types of women in business. And one is a mode where it has a scarcity mentality, and one is a mode that's rising tides raise all ships. And I don't know shit on no, nothing bad against the ones that have the scarcity mentality. They've gotten there for a reason, and they're operating from that space out of for whatever that journey is for them. For me, that moment, that pivotal moment where I had asked this woman who I really looked up to, could I just ask some advice on how she built her business? And to get that no from her, I was like, oh, I don't want to ever operate that way. Like, I don't want to operate from a space of like, there's not enough room for all of us at the top. And so a huge part of my why now is I have a whole team of full-time women that work now, I say work with me, but technically they work for me, right? Like, I'm not just responsible for my own livelihood. I now have salaries to pay and all these things to pay. So that was also a huge why for me, was to be able to figure out like, how can I not only deliver the best to my clients, but also like uplift other women and like create this environment where people are excited to show up every day, and we get to work together, and like rising tides get to raise all those ships together. Cause like ultimately there is enough space for all of us. I've heard you tell me so many times, and something I know you preach about a lot is like, when you operate from a space of scarcity, that's all you're going to get back. But when you operate from like, there's enough room for all of us, like there's enough money to go around, there's enough everything to go around, like all of a sudden the world is a very different place to play in.
I totally agree. And like, that's such a great way to think, because that's like such a great intention too for you. It's like, I want to wake up because like I want to help people basically. And like so
Yeah.
many of your clients are looking for ways to help people. And it's really cool. Like, what would you say to someone who's starting out? Like, I mean, I have listeners from all different age ranges. And like sometimes,
Yes.
people are say they have like families and a job. They can't just throw three sheets to the wind and start something new. Some people that listen are looking, this is the first thing they're going to do is like start their own business. But either
Yeah.
way, it can apply. Like, what would you say to people that are just starting out? I have something to start, like I have to start a jewelry business, or I'm starting this
Sure.
small business where I'm tutoring, or whatever it may be. Like, just from
Yeah.
your experience, you're so deep in like this very intense business, and like you're seeing what it is for women. Like, what would you say to someone?
Yeah. I love this question. Because as you know, and you sort of alluded to it, my side hustle is fitness. And so this sort of, for me, it like the answer to this applies not just if you're starting a business, it starts to anything that's like believing in yourself or bettering yourself. And whether that's on your fitness journey, your health and wellness journey, your own business journey, it's like there are so many times almost daily that I don't know what the result is going to be, and I don't know where the end goal is going to be. But my whole goal is put one foot in front of the next foot. And I might be moving at a very glacial pace, but I'm just going to keep slowly moving forward. And it's like where I have seen the most resistance is that starting block, is people get stuck on that starting block. And it's like, I fail every single day. Like an example of that, I literally will send out 150 cold emails to brands and speaking engagements for clients on the daily, and I might get one back. Like that is not a high percentage. Or if I do, it's a lot of times like, no, we're not looking. And so for me, failure is inevitable and path redirection is inevitable. It's just that idea of like, I'm going to keep going because I know this is what I like this. I'm going to do this for myself, and I'm going to keep going. And those individuals that like, I was 26 when I started my company. I was able to move back in with my parents, who made sure I had food on the table. So I was in a different position than someone who has, kids and a family and everything. But what AP Burn Group has been is like, hasn't come without sacrifice. Like I didn't meet my person until I was 34. So I sacrificed a huge amount of my personal life to build my business. And so I'd say like being okay with realizing you're going to have to say no, you're going to have to sacrifice. And that might just be sacrifice a little sleep because the kids go to bed and you are able to allot that hour time at night. And that's going to be your time to pour into yourself and your business. Like it, this has not come without any sacrifice. No, sister, for you building your business, like you've absolutely had to sacrifice and say no to things in order to pour into these other areas. So, biggest piece of advice, be willing to fail and like figure out areas that you need to sacrifice. And lastly, just keep that, one foot right going in front of the other. Doesn't matter how fast you move, just keep going.
Yeah, and be willing to do things that no one else wants to do. Like sit down and send 150 emails. No one wants to do that, but you're doing it. It's so interesting when you were talking to, it's like making it is hard, not making it is hard. Choose your hard.
Absolutely.
Or being out of shape is hard, getting into shape is hard. Choose your hard.
Choose your hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Like cooking, I mean, 100%. I mean, that's the biggest thing is like, just life is hard. Doing things are hard. So just pick the one, like pick the hard, right? And for me, it is going to the gym. I'd rather that than like feel the pain of walking up and down the stairs because I have let my muscles go. You know what I mean? Like pick the hard and where it's going to be. And yeah, I love that analogy.
I have this quote and it reminded me of what you said. It's a Rumi quote and it says, as you start to walk on the way appears.
Mm,
So it's like you have to sometimes just move and you don't know the end result, but the way will appear as you start to move on it and send those emails and wake up at 4:44. Um,
yeah.
and then it was so funny because you were talking about just like one thing at a time. It made me think of, and you're, in fitness. So this aligned so much. This one Pilates instructor that I love. She is the most positive, beautiful person. I adore her. And we were talking about food and eating. And she said, I chunk it out. And I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, I chunk my day out. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. She's like, I just look at my day in chunks. So I look at when I'm waking up and what that breakfast will be. And then I look at
Mm,
this chunk of my day where I won't be able to have lunch. So then I put lunch in my car with a cooler. Like she
mm,
chunks out the day with her food just to make it really seamless and easy. And I like using that in life too. Like if I'm working with Naomi, my daughter, and like even this morning, she was, exhausted and she didn't want to go to school and didn't want to get ready. And I'm like, well, let's chunk it out. What do we have? We have 4 chunks. We have a hairbrush chunk, teeth brush chunk, and then we need a top and a bottom, just chunk it out and like one step at a time, one foot in front of the other.
100%. And that's the thing is like starting your company. Holy shit, that's a huge goal. You know what I mean? That can feel so overwhelming, but it's like break that down. And for me, this is the silliest thing I do every day. I wake up and the first thing I do before I put my contacts in, go pee, do anything else, brush my teeth, is I make my bed. Because making my bed to start the day as the first thing that happens for me, I immediately check a box. And I'm a very like list, check boxes, feel accomplished person. So for me, like make the bed. Oh, I checked a box. Hell yeah. I'm already winning and I haven't even put my contacts in. Like that, it's like so little, but it has been one of the most powerful things for me because I want to feel like I'm winning. And I know I'm going to fail and I know I'm not going to win throughout the day, but like just having those little accomplishments. So like what you just said with Naomi, it's like brush teeth, check. Hell yeah. Chunked it off, got it done.
Chunk it out.
Brush hair, check. Chunk it off, got it done. Like those are the things that like, and that's how, if you're starting a business or you're trying to kind of level up or do something new, try even something new, right? Trying fitness. It's like write down all the little mini steps and start crossing it off with those little check marks. And like all of a sudden, even just the way you look at fitness or look at a business or look at anything, like you feel different, right? Like it brought a smile to my face, even thinking like, oh my God, I made my bed. Like, hell yeah. Like that, it brings like a level of like brevity and light, or it brings a level of lightness to the situation. And that is when the quote you said, it's like, as you start, the way becomes available to you. And that is absolutely what happens when you start kind of like, you're like, yeah, okay, win, got it. Next step, let's go, makes a huge difference.
Well, first of all, you wear contacts?
Oh yeah, I'm blind as a bat.
I don't know that you
I
wear
don't know how.
contacts.
I don't know how, well, I wore
No,
glasses
I
for a million
know.
years.
I know your whole
I know. And
childhood you
then
wore glasses, but like
my,
I just
I
haven't
know.
clued in to
I know. Now no more glasses. When I was riding, I still wore glasses because when you're riding and you're judging distances to fences, I was so afraid to move into contacts because I thought it would change my ability to like read distances to
right.
the fences. And then when I stopped riding, yeah, I got contacts. I basically had a little bit of a leveling up around, mid 20s into 30s. 30s, I have early 30s. I happened to discover Botox and a little bit of filler.
Glow up.
And I'm just saying it was a glow up. I also got Invisalign. There was just some glow up that happened around 30. It was good for me. It was good for
I
me.
love it. It's amazing. Okay, so what I wanted to say, I just love that we're like, yeah, you do fitness or whatever. But like on a high level, like let's just really quickly talk about when you're doing fitness next.
I'm the best. Oh my gosh. So growing up as an athlete, fitness, being physically active is something that's super important to me. And what I realize is I do have a lot of energy and I do have a lot of crazy energy. And if it isn't crazy, not bad, I'm not attaching a thing to it. But if I don't work out, if I don't move that energy with purpose, I can be really, really deeply depressed. I can be very angry. I can be very reactive and all. And so, fitness has been this outlet. And there were years where I did definitely have an eating disorder. And you'll hear me even now say some things here and there. But now it's really become like, not about what I look like, it's about how I feel. And so yeah, so fitness has been a really huge piece of this whole puzzle of success. Because it's figuring out how to like move that energy in a positive way. But yeah, so now I used to coach at Rumble Boxing in Philly and in Phoenix, and then now I'm at the number one fitness studio in Phoenix called Groundwork, which is an amazing studio. Their number, interestingly enough, their secondary logo is 888. So they're this place that I found that's just crazy aligned. It's an amazing studio. So I coach rhythmic bass weightlifting, and then have been lucky to be kind of a sponsored athlete and coach all around the world doing these fitness classes. So I love fitness.
And she's going to Cannes Film Festival next. She will be on a
Yes.
stage. She goes, how many years have you gone to teach?
So this will be my third year. The first year I was sponsored by Michelob. The second year I was sponsored by Gatorade, and this year actually Lifetime is sponsoring me the gym studios. Yeah, so
Oh,
I'm gonna be
wow.
coaching for Lifetime. I'm coaching a beach sculpt class. For the last couple of years, I've had a few hundred people in my class, and so it'll be really really fun. I love it. It's like my weird side alter ego. I think for so long, I wanted, when I was working for the Flyers, I was the in arena host, the Flyers minor league team. I was the in arena host, and I was like, oh, maybe my path is to be a sports reporter.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be the next Aaron Andrews. And I realized it's a lot more fun making other people famous than making myself famous. But I think this little want to have a microphone and kind of be in command a room, like I just love it. And so I think that's where fitness has really been has been a good redirection of that dream, to get to be on a stage and like kick people's ass. I love it. I love when people are like, "You're the hardest coach." I'm like, "Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I love it."
So I think everyone should follow Alexy on Instagram so you can just see what she's up to. She's so inspiring and energetic. She's at Alexy Posner, which is AlexyPosner. And then what else should we look at if we want to stay connected? What's your website? Just if you want to see what she's up to and like,
That's the best. And also the AP brand group Instagram is really fun too. I try to keep that super up to date on all client happenings and all client things. So those are definitely the two. Be prepared. I'm sorry if you are not a Swiftie. I do host Swiftie Lifties. My entire TikTok is all Taylor Swift inspired fitness.
you really got into her.
I jumped on that train and I'm staying on it. I know. I don't love her as much as I love Dave Matthews Band, which everyone you should know. Eric and I are obsessed with Dave Matthews Band. It's been our thing. We've gone to a
It's
bunch of
our
concerts
thing.
together.
It's like our
It's our
thing.
thing.
Yeah. It's our
It's our
thing.
thing. And her husband's like, "Oh God, you two are going to a concert again. Like, help us all."
Oh
But
Lord. Oh Lord. Those end a little
no.
cray cray, but it's okay. We'll keep that between us.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I can't believe you just came on my podcast. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I love you so much,
Ugh.
sister. Thank you so, so, so much. I could not believe when you asked me, I was like, I'm not worthy. Thank you
Oh my
so
God.
much for
You
having
know what?
me. This
You're so inspiring. You're inspiring to women. You're inspiring to me, and your energy and the way that
sister.
the things you've accomplished and kind of gotten through and moved through. You talked a little bit about it just personally and in career. It's amazing. So I'm so honored you were here, and I love you
Thanks,
so
sister. I love
much.
you. Thanks for having
My
me.
pleasure. And for everyone listening, this was such a joy. And I'm so, so happy that you're here and continue to listen to this little show. You're just amazing. I have literally the nicest, most supportive community listening to You Are Not Alone. So please go on Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you're listening and rate this podcast because it really helps other people. If they look at the rating, like, oh, okay, I'm going to give this a try. So please go on and rate it. Please follow me at Spiritual Medium Erica. And that's the best way to be in touch with me. And honestly, guys, if you take nothing away from this episode, please take deep in your heart that you are not alone. You are so supported. You are so loved. There is so much work being done on your behalf from the universe. I am thinking of you. I love you. Take good care, and we'll talk soon. God bless, friends.